A viewer writes, how come telephones have push buttons now? What happened to the dial? Is this a conspiracy or what? Waiting by the phone, Huntsville. While waiting, push button dialing isn't a conspiracy, it's progress. Although in electronics those two things are often the same thing. Automatic dialing of calls was invented in 1890 by a Kansas City undertaker named Almon B. Stroger. The inspiration for this came from the fact that his competitor's wife was the local telephone operator. Guess who was getting all the calls? Stroger's system used a clockwork dial and a bunch of these fancy stepping switches. The dial's a clockwork mechanism that pulses the telephone line. Now the clockwork regulates this pulsing to 10 per second. The digit that's dialed is the number of pulses. At the telephone exchange, banks and banks of Stroger switches step their way through the circuits, in sync with the pulses from the dial. Each telephone exchange handles 10,000 subscribers. They're numbered 0000 to 9999, the last 4 digits of your telephone number. When the call is placed to a different exchange, that's the first 3 digits, the remote exchange has to be contacted, and then the last 4 digits are re-telegraphed by repeating equipment. So one dialed call goes through a lot of switches. By 1978, there were about 25 million subscribers in North America connected to Stroger switches. This gives the telephone system more moving parts than anything ever made. Now, moving parts, as you might have heard, have fallen out of favor with technology. For one thing, they move. Ugh, friction, wear, dirty contacts. And most of all, moving parts take time to move. So as long as we're going to trash all the moving parts, we might as well revamp the dial thingy as well. The future, undoubtedly, you've seen. The correct name for touch-tone dialing, notice we still call it dialing. The correct name for touch-tone dialing is dual-tone multi-frequency dialing, DTMF. And dual-tone multi-frequency is a clue to how it works. Each digit on the DTMF pad generates 2 tones. By a clever arrangement, only 7 different tones can generate 12 different pairs, because the tone oscillators are divided by row and column. This is one of the earliest older phones, and it lets me generate just 1 tone at a time if I push 2 buttons simultaneously. The columns are represented by a set of 3 high tones. The rows by a set of 4 low tones. Pushing just 1 button at a time, like you're supposed to, emits a mixture of the row and column tones. This dual tone system makes the reception of tones very reliable. Just think, if it simply used single tones, you could be dialing a friend across the street, and by simply whistling as you dial, your call could end up in Timbuktu. The exchange's tone receivers are set up to recognize a valid pair of tones only. Just one won't do. Notice that this row-column setup allows the space for 12 tone pairs, rather than just the 10 digits they needed. So the extra 2 buttons come along for free. That thing that looks like a tic-tac-toe game, by the way, according to the phone company, is an octothorpe. The thing that looks like an asterisk is an asterisk. Aside from the banishment of moving parts from the system, DTMF is extremely fast. The dial takes 0.1 seconds per dial pulse. That means that the digit 0 takes 1 full second to complete. A valid DTMF tone pair can be detected in 0.05 seconds. Now, taking the phone number 555-555-5555, which, as you know, is the phone number of everybody in television dramas, the old dial takes 11.3 seconds to place the call. DTMF can dial the same number in 1 second flat. Now, maybe you can't push the buttons that fast, but automatic dialing equipment can. The saving of a few seconds doesn't really seem like a big deal until you multiply those few seconds by all of the phone calls made in North America in one day. As a further bonus, the tone pad stays in the circuit after the call is connected. Those tones are just like speech. So it can become a simple data terminal. Maybe you've had the experience. Press 5 to have your rugs cleaned now. 6 if you don't have any rugs. Well, waiting by the phone, you've seen the future, and it has no moving parts.